Hi, this is Mike Frith, Regional Manager of Patient Accounts for Trinity Health in the Western Region, and I'm happy to present to you today some information regarding the CMS Rebilling Initiative. A little background, the CMS invited hospitals to participate in a rebilling demonstration project. This happened last fall. It's a project that was to cover the calendar years 2012 through 2014. The enticement was that services that were denied medical necessity for inpatient stay could be just repackaged and billed as a regular 131 outpatient claim. The timeliness is an issue here because many of the RAC denials are more than a year old. And so you're not even able to do a 121 rebill if the timely filing rules are enforced. But participating in the demonstration project essentially waived the timely filing rules on these inpatient medical necessity denials. But the catch is hospitals choosing to participate had to give up their appeal rights on those particular accounts. And so you lose the opportunity to pursue that appeal, which, if you were successful, would restore the full DRG payment. Obviously, that would be the better payment, but some payment is better than no payment in some cases. We'll look at some specifics. This was announced back in November. There were public information sessions in December, and applicants had to submit their applications starting on December 12th. This wasn't available to all provider types, so if you're receiving PIP payments, if you're a psych facility, inpatient rehab, long-term care, critical access, a cancer specialty hospital, or a children's hospital, you're not eligible to participate. It's for regular acute care PPS facilities. In the participation, they segmented it by hospital size. And so they were willing to accept up to 180 small hospitals, defined as those with less than 100 beds, up to 120 medium-sized hospitals, and so the bed range 100 to 299 for that group, and up to 100 large hospitals, being those 300 beds and larger. And hospitals would be accepted into the demonstration based on the first applications submitted. There was no selection based on making sure that all regions, all CMS jurisdictions were represented, but I think they believed that by having this number participate, that there would be participation from throughout the country. I mentioned already the 3 years, so those are the calendar years when the demonstration is in operation. The other factor that facilities needed to be aware of is that once they were accepted into the program, they could opt out at any time. Although, of course, if a hospital does opt out, getting back into the program, should they want to do that later, might be difficult or impossible. So which claims are we talking about that can be rebilled? Initially, you would have submitted your inpatient account with a bill type 111. You would have received your DRG payment. If this was a RAC review, I'll talk a little bit in a minute about the fact that it also extended to some prepayment denials. But other conditions, the account's length of stay would not be greater than 2 days. And so if you're participating in the demonstration project and you have a patient that was in-house for 3 days and you get a RAC denial that says, no, we don't think they met medical necessity, that claim is not subject to the demonstration project, therefore it still retains appeal rights. The facility, even in a demonstration, could still appeal claims with a length of stay greater than 2 days. Again, to be eligible, the initial RAC denial or other denial would have to have occurred after January 1, 2012. There are a number of denials that were identified in 2011, and the demand letters from the MACs or FIs didn't arrive until 2012. but those claims are not eligible for the demonstration because their initial denial happened in 2011. Now, we've also seen some cases where medical necessity is denied for the service or procedure itself. And so in screening denials, participants in the demonstration have to be very careful to identify that the reason for the denial was the status, inpatient, versus the procedure itself. And of course, these would have to be services that would have been covered if originally were billed as outpatient.